Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Amina Sheikh, your English teacher. Today we will start with a new poem and the name of the poem is Try Anti Wanty Gongo Log. And the poet of the strange poem is C.J. Dennis. So students, the easy way to pronounce the word is Try Anti Wanty Gongo Log. And I'm sure you will learn to pronounce it soon. So let's start the poem. There's a very funny insect that you do not often spy. It isn't quite a spider and it isn't quite a fly. It is something like a beetle and a little like a bee, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Its name is quite a hard one, but you will learn it soon, I hope. So try anti-wanty gongo lob. So student, in the first stanza, the poet is describing about how the insect exactly look like. The poet goes on saying that it is a very funny insect and this insect we do not see oftenly. It doesn't look like a spider and not like a fly. In the third line of the stanza, the poet has used the word something like. It means that poet is trying to say that the insect somewhat looks like a beetle but not exactly like a beetle, and it looks little bit like a bee. So student, the poet has not completely described the insect. The poet has just compared the insect with other insects like spider, fly, beetle and bee. The poet does not know the exact look of the insect, and the insect doesn't even climb upon a tree like a woolly grub. The word woolly grub means a fat little worm. And now the poet is saying that the name of this insect is quite hard, but he say no matter to worry, you will learn it soon. So just try to say try anti-wanty gongo log. It lives on weeds and wattle gum and has a funny face. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. When first you come upon it, it will give you a quite a scare, but when you look for it again, you will find it isn't there. And unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mock. So try anti-wanty gongo lob. In the second stanza of the poem, the poet describes about the place where the strange insect live. He also describes the strange behavior of the insect. So students, the insect live on a weeds. It means useless plants which grows in the rainy season. So on such useless plant, this insect lives, and it also lives on wattle gum. It means gum which we obtain from the tree. So student, where does this insect live? Yes, on the weeds and the wattle gums. These are the two places where it actually lives, and its face is quite funny. Its appetite is hearty. Here the word appetite means desire to satisfy the hunger, and hearty means large. His desire to satisfy the hunger is large. His manners were very disgrace. Disgrace means shameful. It gives one a quite scare when one first comes across it, but when you look for it again, it gets disappear. So to see this insect again, you must call it very softly. You must call its name very politely, or else it will not come again or it will not appear again. And that insect will feel very sorry for itself and it will feel quite bad. So the poet asks us to call its name. So try to pronounce the name. Try anti-wanty gongo log. So students, moving on to the next stanza, the poet says, it trembles if you tickle it or treads upon its toes. It is not an early riser, but it has a snubbish nose. If you snarl at it or scold it, it will scuttle off in shame, but it poos and poos quite proudly if you'll call it by its name and offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap. So try anti-wanty gongo lob. In the third stanza, the poet tells us something more about this insect. When you touch it, it starts shaking or it starts walking on its toes. It is not an early riser, that means it does not wake up early, and it has a short fat nose which is turned at the end. When you give him an unpleasant look or scold it, it will run quickly in shame. But it poos very proudly if you call it by its name and offer him some sandwich of sealing wax and soap. So try saying try anti wanti gongolo. So, students, in the last stanza, the poet C.J. Dennis says that, but of course, you haven't seen it, and I truthfully confess that I haven't seen it either, and I don't know its address. For there isn't such an insect, though there really might have been if the trees and the grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. It's just a little joke of mine which you will forgive, I hope. Oh, try anti wanty gongolob. So, student, in the last stanza of the poem, the poet finally gives out his secret truthfully. So the poet says that he is sure that you have not seen such type of insect anywhere, and the poet himself has not seen the insect, and the poet does not even knows where this strange insect lives. He says that there isn't such an insect in this world. So poet goes on saying that if the trees and the grasses were purple and the sky was bottle green, then such insect might have existed. And we all know that the color of the tree and the grass can never be purple, and the color of sky will never be bottle green. So there are all imagination. Similarly, the poet was just imagining the insect. Further, he says that it was just a joke. All he told us about the insect was not real. He was just joking. He hopes that we all would forgive him for his mischievous behavior. And lastly, he says to try to pronounce the word try anti wanti gongolo.